Internationally, we're keeping a close watch on ongoing rescue operations in Myanmar and Thailand. They're really at a critical moment following Friday's powerful earthquake and aftershocks. The 72-hour rescue window has now passed, and after that, the chances of survival for people buried under rubble are considered to significantly decrease. But emergency crews are still pulling people out alive. Chinese rescuers freed 3 survivors this morning in Mandalay, the city that's right in this epicenter of the quake in Myanmar. Among the 3, a child who was trapped for more than 65 hours. Another, a pregnant woman, pulled from the rubble and lowered from a crumbling building on a zip line. Our South Asia correspondent is Salima Shivji, and she is in Bangkok to cover the story for us. In fact, right at the site of that collapsed skyscraper we focused so much on Friday. It was under construction when it came down, and as we can see behind Salima, the rescue operation still underway. So Salima, welcome. Good morning. Tell us the latest about the rescue effort today, and really, as I was mentioning, the race against the clock.
That's right, Heather. You talked about that crucial window, the 72-hour rescue window that is so important in any of these rescue and recovery operations. And that window is now closed. It's been more than 72 hours since the massive earthquake hit. But there's still hope here, even if it's getting a little bit more feeble as this operation continues. You can see, obviously, the big, massive excavators, the cranes behind me. They're trying to move those massive concrete slabs that were just flattened when the skyscraper came down within seconds. Rescue officials and workers here are really concentrating on hearing some of those signals of life. And they actually, this is revelatory, we were actually at a point much closer to the debris, but we were actually pushed back because rescue workers said those signals of life and signs of life were getting weaker and harder to hear. So they wanted the media and so many families waiting here to be pushed back so they could concentrate on hearing where those possible survivors could be. But look, it's a massive, tricky operation. There are more than 70 people still missing, and we have seen bodies pulled out even today from this rubble. But the operation is continuing even under those challenging circumstances. And so many families here are just waiting anxiously for any word on their loved ones, some of the people still trapped underneath the rubble. That's just here in Bangkok. That's more than 1,000 kilometers from the epicenter, which is, of course, in central Myanmar, right in Mandalay, the second largest city in that country. And reports in from foreign aid crews that are starting to get to that area, it just shows there's massive destruction and devastation everywhere. We're hearing about flattened buildings, thousands of people sleeping outside, children as well, because of fears as there are more aftershocks after this earthquake. And the World Health Organization is also saying that hospitals are completely overwhelmed. Many of them are flattened and destroyed. So a very urgent situation in Myanmar, closer to the epicenter from this massive earthquake, destruction that the region hasn't seen in more than a century.
I was just going to say that fact. I mean, it is stunning to realize this. We're talking about the worst in decades upon decades. So what are the particular complications in Myanmar, Salima, that emergency crews and efforts are encountering?
Well, it is extremely complicated. Obviously, Myanmar is a very isolated country. Often aid is blocked from entering. Foreign journalists are blocked from entering. And so this massive natural disaster is a humanitarian crisis on top of another humanitarian crisis. The country is in the grips of a civil war with the military junta, which seized power in 2021. It is precariously holding on to power and battling rebel-held groups. And we've heard that there have still been airstrikes on rebel-held territory in Myanmar, even after this massive earthquake hit and the scale of destruction there. So that is further complicating matters. The major destruction is in the central part of the region, not rebel-held territory, but aid workers are going to encounter so many hurdles as they try to get into the country and try to get the urgent supplies that are needed there, just because of the civil war that has already left some 20 million people in Myanmar in desperate need of food and shelter. And now this earthquake.
Salima, thank you very much. Great to have you there for the reporting in Bangkok. Salima Shivji, who is our South Asia correspondent.